one of the most important things that you can do is to simplify. It's going to make your painting stronger and more focused, and actually, it's going to make your scenes easier to paint. The first key to simplification is to crop. I see a lot of students that take reference photos and just paint everything that's in the scene. But what you need to do before you start even drawing your scene is to crop your photo. When you're cropping your photo, think about where's the most important area of the painting. And this is where the rule of thirds come into play. So the rule of thirds simply is you put 2 even lines horizontally across your scene and 2 vertical lines evenly. And where those lines intersect are the thirds of your scene. It's a great rule for cinematography, for photography, and also for painting. Put an area of interest on one of these thirds. That way it's not too close to the edge of your painting, it's not too close into the center of your scene, but it's sitting in a good prominent position. Also think about what's more important in the scene. Is it happening down on the ground or is it in the sky? So if you're painting a scene where the sky is more prominent, you could have a lower horizon line and show more of the sky. If there's more interest down on the ground, you can raise up that horizon line and have what's going on the ground be a more prominent area of your painting. Cropping is a good way to simplify your scene even before you get started. The next key is to remove difficult objects. Sometimes in scenes, there are things that just don't quite look right. Things that you instinctively know aren't going to add a lot to your painting that you can go ahead and remove. One of the most relieving things that I tell artists is to just keep reminding them that they are the creator. They are the artist. You can decide what is included in your painting and what is not. So you can edit your scene. If there's a weird truck on a street scene, if there's a weird car, if there's an odd shaped building, if there's trees that you don't like, just take them out of the scene. You don't have to paint the scene just as you took the photo. The next key is to rearrange as needed. Something that you need to know is there's never going to be the perfect scene where everything is right where it should be, where the lighting is just right. What we are doing as artists is we are taking a scene and we are creating an impression of that scene. We are recreating that scene through our eyes, through our own vision. So if we want to rearrange things to make for better compositions, we can do that. Every scene that we take on, there are going to be adjustments that we can make to create a better scene. Now, this key is a little more abstract. Look for patterns. Say you're painting a scene and there's a lot of people sitting at a table. There's a lot of information. Really squint at the scene and try to see this complicated bit of information as a pattern. I'm not going to draw every person, every little detail, every chair, every table. What I'm going to do is just try to see what the pattern of light and shadow is and really look at this area in terms of shape and value. And if you can do that, you can start to recreate patterns of light and dark that make areas like this in your scenes more paintable and actually simplifying them in the way that you paint them. Whether it is a pattern of trees or complicated objects, if you can look at them as more patterns of light and dark and different shapes, you can start to simplify areas that are more complicated in your paintings. And the last one is to paint the key. The best way I can describe this is, say that you have a figure that's a little more prominent, a little closer up to you. You want that figure to look more complete. But as you get further back into your scene and there's more people in the background, you can paint those people more abstractly. So if you have a group of figures, paint one a little more polished, a little more put together, and the other ones in the background can be more abstract and more simple. The same thing goes for trees. When we paint a large mass of trees, a hang-up for students is to try to paint all the texture that they see, all the leaves, all the branches, and we end up using so many brushstrokes to tell one part of the story. and your painting becomes overworked and it looks busy. Minimize the texture on a lot of the trees, almost all of the trees. But if you have one tree that is more prominent, that has more texture, it's going to help the rest of the trees read exactly like they should, even though you're not painting all that information. This is good news for you as a painter, meaning that you don't need to render every single figure or every single branch exactly. You can start to think more abstractly and think more about shapes after you learn to paint the key. So those are my 5 keys to simplifying your scene. Number 1, crop your photo. Number 2, feel free to remove difficult objects that you just don't want to paint or that don't look good in your scene. Number 3, rearrange items as needed. Remember, you are the artist and you're in charge of where things are in your scene, and you can move things around to make a better composition. Number 4, look at complicated parts of your scene and try to see them as a pattern. And number 5, paint the key. Select one person, one tree to be more finished and polished and be more abstract and loose and undefined on the other ones. If you can use these tips to simplify your scenes, you can make more powerful, more focused paintings. Next week, I'm going to walk you through my process for painting this scene from Sicily. So be sure and subscribe if you haven't done that already. And if you're looking for a resource that can help you right now, take a look at this. Have you ever been really excited about a painting and you get all set up, you find that right reference that you're excited about, and then it's time to go and you feel lost? I have a free resource that I want to give to you today that can help with these problems. My 5 steps to plan a successful watercolor painting. I walk you through the crucial planning phase of your painting that will help you understand what you're going to paint first, second, and third. The planning is really so important, especially in watercolor. This medium is harder to correct. It's so immediate. So having that plan is very important. I send you a PDF that you can download. And the great thing about this is you can have it on your phone. You could print it out. You can download this right now before you start your next painting. All you have to do is follow this link here and download my 5-step guide to planning a successful watercolor painting.